With more than 8,000 children catching the coronavirus in the month of May in Maharashtra's Ahmednagar, the state has started taking extra steps to minimize the impact of a possible third wave of COVID-19 that may affect children more. In Maharashtra's Sangli city, a COVID-19 ward is being prepared especially for children. Currently, 5 children are being treated here and the facility is being prepared for more patients. So this is a huge concern. Joining us, Dr. Amit Gupta, pediatrician and neonatologist at the John Radcliffe Hospital in Oxford, Dr. Jaisal Sheth, a senior consultant and pediatrician at the Fortis Hospital in Mulund in Maharashtra. Dr. Shashank Joshi, a member of the COVID-19 task force, joins us. Dr. Joshi, let me come to you first. Is there a pediatric wave of COVID-19 already underway in parts of Maharashtra?
Vishnu, clearly in this second wave, a larger proportion of children, both between 0 to 10 and to 10 to 20, have been affected. And this number has been disproportionately more than the first wave. So clearly there is a large number of children or the pediatric age group which was affected in this particular wave compared to the first wave. So if you take the absolute numbers are likely to be more, but if you take the proportions of the absolute numbers, then also we are seeing clearly that the children below 10 as well as between 10 to 20 have been impacted, because as you know, in this wave it's a cluster spreading variant, a faster spreading variant, and definitely the younger group, particularly below 30, have been affected. And clearly we have seen a larger number of pediatric admissions below 5, below 10 and between 10 to 20 in all parts of Maharashtra, with no exception.
Okay. Let me go across to Dr. Gupta. Dr. Gupta, what do we know of the science of children being potentially more vulnerable to the B1617.2 strain?
So I think the data for that particular strain is not very clear, because this strain is still not spread in the UK or the US where we have data. But whatever preliminary data that we see from India, one thing is clear, that we've got to understand.
The other person is Dr. Sheth. Go ahead, sir.
Hello. Sorry. So one thing we've got to understand is that the hospitalization rate is still exceedingly low. I mean, most data would point out that there are approximately 8 adults hospitalized as compared to, 8 children hospitalized versus 165 adults per 100,000 population. I don't think that India has seen a vast number of children being admitted in the second wave. And I don't think that is borne out by data from India either. So that is point number one. Point number two is, even if you have children who are infected, you've just quoted figures from Ahmednagar, 8,000 children being affected. Despite that, mortality is going to remain very low. Severe illness is going to remain exceedingly low. So one thing I want to really emphasize is, yes, you've got to be alert and be ready. But the overwhelming message that we have to give to parents is that the third wave is not particularly making children unwell. They may be infecting them more, but that doesn't mean they are dying more or needing more and more intensive care. So that has to be very clear. And because I can see that panic can very easily spread amongst parents who are watching this program, and they're just wondering whether the third wave is something very special, that the virus somehow has decided to attack children as opposed to adults. I don't think there is any evidence for that.
Okay.
Secondly, all the previous iterations of the virus, now the B1617 is one, but all the previous iterations, none of them have in fact impacted children in excess. I've got, my sister lives in Hyderabad. She's got 2 children. Everybody got COVID. The kids got COVID. The kids were not tested. You start testing kids more, you'll get more positivity. That doesn't necessarily mean that these children are going to become more unwell and die more.
Okay.
I think that you have got to remember that the disease remains mild.
All right. Dr. Sheth, would you like to come in on this? Your view. Do you believe that there's this association between a potential third wave and children? Do you share that association, that children may be more vulnerable?
So I completely agree with what Dr. Gupta mentioned actually, because in the second wave, yes, we are seeing more percentage numbers of the children getting infected, but the disease severity is actually not that bad. Number of the children needing hospitalization is actually quite low, and children needing ICU care is significantly low, less than 1%. So, logically, as per the experts data we have got from other countries, who are ahead of us in multiple wave situation, yes, there is a possibility that children can have more number of the, more number of the cases can come up, just like the Ahmednagar in the, entire state or entire country. But at the same time, I agree with Dr. Gupta that so far we do not have any scientific reason to believe that children will become so unwell just like the adults and there is going to be the chaos. So just like Dr. Gupta, I would like to assure that parents do not need to be panicked. Yes, parents need to be cautious, and one of the way to spread the infection, prevent the spread of the infection to the children will be by protecting themselves, because virus is not going to fly to the children, directly. So, children have to get cross infected through some way. It will be families, the gardens, the gatherings. So if we want to prevent the infection of the children, I think we have to, minimize these barriers or break these chains. And that is the way to go about it. And even if it happens, parents need to be calm about it and be in touch with their regular pediatricians.
Dr. Joshi, what explains the numbers in Ahmednagar? This number of 8,000 is astounding. Why is it so high?
Let me first of all say that there is no need for panicking, because we know children have thymus below 10 years of age. They are able to handle viral infections better. But what I would like to educate Dr. Gupta and Dr. Sheth is that this time there is a disproportionate increase, at least in Maharashtra state, as far as 0 to 10 and 10 to 20 years is concerned. There is a proportionate increase and disproportionate increase, which is why what we have red flagged is to have a pandemic preparedness for the pediatricians. We have started having a pediatric task force to do capacity building and educating that community, number one. Number two, we also know that across whole of India, there are only 2,000 pediatric ICU beds. Now, we did the same thing when the second wave had not broken out in February. And obviously, if there are only 2,000 beds of intensive care across India, and if a third wave comes, and if there is a large proportion of children which are affected in absolute numbers, the 2,000 beds are not going to be sufficient. And that is why Maharashtra state is preparing that in any eventuality, if such a thing happens, we need to be ready and prepared. And obviously, 90% of children will recover at home and they will do very well. And even those 10% which will go to the hospital, very few of them might need intensive care, as both the pediatric colleagues have very rightly pointed out. We are seeing some outliers, whether it's Ahmednagar, whether it's Aurangabad, whether it's Kolhapur. We are seeing some outliers in pediatric cases in some of these clusters. And there is no explanation for that. These numbers are disproportionate. But as I said, most of them have done well. They have needed hospitalizations. Very few of them have needed a multi-system involvement, intensive care, IV immunoglobulins. Even Pune has seen a little filtering from Sangli, Ahmednagar, as well as Kolhapur. And Aurangabad also has seen full pediatric wards in the medical schools there. So we are going by that data. It is difficult to explain, but obviously when it spreads as a cluster spreading spread in the entire family, children are not going to be left alone. They will also get the disease and they can be spreaders and super spreaders.
Yeah.
Our worry is for the children between the ages of 10 to 20. And that is where the vulnerability is high. And we also know that currently this is the less exposed population. And this is the population which is unlikely to get vaccinated in the next 3 to 6 months. And which is why all we are trying to do is trying to sensitize the stakeholders, which are the group which treat the people. Also, we need to allay the anxiety of all the parents that there is no need to panic. And the third thing which we have done is last year and this year, due to the 2 waves of COVID, there has been a disruption of the regular immunization. And we have also made a plea to our pediatric colleagues and family practitioners to ensure that both in public and private sector, if there were disruption in the standard immunization schedules of children, both last year and this year, that should also be completed, because we have some indirect evidence to suggest that general immunization is useful in general for viral infections. So those would be my things. But right now we don't have any explanations of these little unusual numbers from some of these cluster geographies, except that it's a cluster spread and therefore the sheer numbers are a little surprising. But clearly we have seen that some of these places in Western Maharashtra, in Marathwada, we have seen a larger proportion of children with the pediatric, particularly between 10 to
that's a clear concern. Dr. Gupta, we may not know the science of it as yet, but the numbers are absolutely clear. It's not one cluster; it's a couple of clusters, right, in Maharashtra. Your views?
Couple of things. One is that it's not 10% of children will get admitted to hospital. It will be less than 1%. Because, you know, the vast majority, 99% plus, will remain well. That's number one. Number two, I think what you're doing is, if you're measuring, if you're out there and doing tests in children, you've got to differentiate between excessive testing or more testing in children, or you are saying that these children, this cluster that you found is specially proportionately higher than adults. Now, I know that data from India will and also will confirm that in the second wave, the vast majority of kids were not being tested. Now, if you have stepped up testing in children, you're going to find more. So I'm not sure that 8,000 children.
Let's get an answer to that. Let's get an answer. Since Dr. Joshi directly sort of heads the, he's a key part of the entire COVID task force in Maharashtra. Did you test these children more, or did you test them post? Did you test them post them developing?
No, I don't think so. I think the testing has been always very transparent and reasonable as far as Maharashtra state is concerned. And I don't see challenges in testing. Testing has been reasonably transparent and all the numbers are there for you to see.
No, I'm just trying to understand when would you...
No. So also, I don't agree with Dr. Gupta when he makes a presumption without evidence to say that we can't base everything which happens in the West necessarily replicates in India. So we need to understand some science, and we have to be driven by numbers, data and science. And definitely children have been tested, but they have not been disproportionately tested. We have to follow standard public health policy, which is to test, trace and track. And if a family has to be tested, many a times children probably in the first wave were left untested, but this time clearly the children are symptomatic and they have been visiting a pediatric hospital and a pediatrician and have got tested. I don't think that is disproportionate or inappropriate. I think we are just following standard of care. And when you are talking about standard of care, I would not subscribe to that. Data of India and data of Maharashtra will be different. That much I can tell you for sure. And that is very visible and transparent. So from that standpoint, we are definitely seeing some numbers which are disproportionate as far as the state is concerned from the first wave to the second wave. We don't have an explanation for that. But probably we predict and we need to be ready and prepared. We are not panicking. Our pediatricians are very capable. We have a very large proportion of them in there, and I think they will handle it. We are also having pediatric ICUs also in Maharashtra state. So I am not worried about that part at all. But I think to say that less than 0.1% would be affected in the intensive care may not be based on true scientific data. Even the US has not reported perfectly in children, neither has United Kingdom as far as children has been concerned. Children testing is a challenge because putting, till we have simple salivary tests which will be available for diagnostics, the testing will always be a challenge in the children and the pediatric population. So that part I would consider.
Yeah. All right. So lots of key concerns over there. We'll leave it over there. Obviously, we need to be ready for any eventuality, and that I think is a concern. Dealing with children, they're not just small adults; they're completely different, and therefore we need to be prepared in so many ways.
Would just for your viewers to reiterate this point again, that your children having fever due to coronavirus or symptoms, they should be feeling reassured that the chances of them getting admitted or feeling severely unwell remains exceedingly low. And I think that is the overwhelming message. And I do respect what Dr. Saab is saying, that you need to be prepared, but you need to put these things into proportion. And the anxiety that is there in parents has to be, in proportion to what is there in reality. And I'm not saying that this is UK data or US data. This is what pediatricians from India will confirm. So it's not data from the UK which I'm referring to.
No, but we are talking about Maharashtra, which is a huge state. It's the size of a country, and this is driven by data. I mean, it's driven by data in these areas and cases.
My point is, even if it's driven by data, the number of admissions that you're seeing in Maharashtra, let's forget rest of India, in Maharashtra remains low. And I think what you've got to also understand that there are two different things we are talking about. One is the COVID infection.
I'm not sure that the number of admissions in pediatric spaces in those clusters and those geographies are low. They are reasonable, and those wards in those medical schools are full, which is why a concern was red flag. And all we are doing is things of abundant precaution. We have sensitized both family doctors as well as pediatricians. We don't want to panic at all. We don't want to panic the parents at all, but we don't want to be reckless or careless either.
All right, we'll leave it there. I'd like to thank you all very much for joining us. We will be careful in how we report this as well, obviously staying alert and also reporting any development as appears to have taken place in some parts of Maharashtra.